Okay, let's go back to sharing my screen.
Great, looks like we've got at least 4 people. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Okay, yeah, so let's, we have a few people, so let's get started. Let's see, I'm just gonna turn off my video so I don't distract myself by looking at my face. So thank you everybody for joining us today. We're really excited about this. With me today is Hallie Stuart. She's our retreat travel specialist. And my name is Rebecca Picard. I'm the travel operations manager here at Run Wild Retreats. I've been working in the travel industry for almost 15 years. I've been with Run Wild Retreats for about a year. In my career, I have been super fortunate. I've been able to travel to some pretty amazing places. But I'm here today to talk about one of my favorite places in the world, Bhutan. When I started working here at Run Wild Retreats about a year ago, like I said, I knew it was a destination that we just really needed to be. So just to give you an overview, here's where Bhutan is located in the world. It is a tiny landlocked country located right in between China and India and next to Nepal. Here's an overview map of the country. Bhutan has a population of only around 800,000 people. So it has about the same population as, say, Denver or Boston. Despite being such a really tiny country, they have their very own, very unique culture that is very different from its 2 giant neighbors. The state religion in Bhutan is Buddhism, and the vast majority of people there are Buddhist. But while this is not a Buddhist retreat, and you will be welcome no matter what religion you may practice, you will definitely feel that Buddhist influence around you while you are there. As a country, it was very isolated from the world for a very long time. It opened to tourism in 1998. Televisions and the internet were only introduced in 1999. One of the ways that Bhutan has been so successful in retaining their culture is by heavily regulating tourism. So as a result, the government implements a mandatory daily tourist fee for all visitors, which you may or may not have read about. In the past, all guests were required to also travel with a Bhutanese guide and through a Bhutanese tour operator. The government has also recently increased their tariff, which has made it even more of a challenge for travelers. However, despite these strict rules, what it really shows is that the government has a very strong commitment to sustainable tourism and really preserving their culture. And this is one of the ways that they do it. And I also just want to take a minute here to say that all of the tourism fees and tariffs are included in the package price of this retreat. The only additional expenses on this retreat would be your Nepal visa and then any personal items such as laundry or souvenirs. So that's just a little background about the country. You're here today to learn about our retreat, and so I just want to tell you some of the highlights. It is a 10-day, 9-night retreat. You will have the chance to practice mindful running techniques led by your Run Wild Retreat retreat leader. You'll stay in authentic accommodations, run and hike through Himalayan valleys, visit Buddhist monasteries and sacred temples, and you'll get the chance to meditate with Buddhist monks. You'll experience some really meaningful interactions with the Bhutanese people. They're extremely welcoming, and they're going to start off conversations with you whenever they have the chance. You'll get to relax in a traditional Bhutanese hot stone bath, and I'll tell you more about that later. You'll get to play a game of archery if you're inclined. That's the national sport of Bhutan. Rejuvenate at an expert-led yoga class, and learn to cook with a Bhutanese chef. I think that will be a highlight. So diving a little deeper into the itinerary, I'm just going to go through it a little bit day by day. There are still going to be a lot of surprises that we're not going to tell you about, but it's going to be a fabulous retreat. So the retreat will start and end in Kathmandu, Nepal. So when you're looking for flights, that is where you would be flying in and out of. The retreat will just start on the first day at around 5 p.m. with a dinner at the hotel. And we don't have any other activities planned for today, so you'll have plenty of chance to rest and prepare for the following day. We're overnighting at one of the best hotels in Kathmandu. It's called the Dwarkas Hotel, and it's located right in the heart of the city. So you'll overnight at the hotel in Kathmandu, and then the following morning, you will wake up early and you will transfer as a group back to the Kathmandu airport. And you'll have a representative in Nepal that will be there to help you all check in. Your retreat leader will help you with that as well. And then you're going to fly from Kathmandu to PARO, Bhutan. And that's where the main airport is located there. If it's a clear day, you will be able to see Mount Everest along the way. And we try to get everybody seats on the left side of the plane so that you all have a view. But the pilot does announce it, so you won't miss it on the way. The flights to Bhutan are also included in the cost of the retreat. So the round trip tickets from Kathmandu to PARO, Bhutan are obtained by our partner in Bhutan. So we take care of that for you, and that is included in the package price. And I'm going to pause right here because I forgot to say that if you have any questions at all while I'm talking, you can send a chat message to Hallie. And then at the end of this presentation, we'll go over any questions that you guys might have. So moving on to day 3. So day 3 is really where, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a day, day 2. So you'll fly to PARO, Bhutan. Upon arrival in PARO at the airport, you're going to transfer to the capital city of THIMPHU, and that's about an hour drive. You will have a welcome orientation, and you'll get to meet your Bhutanese guides here at the hotel. And we'll do a really quick shakeout run in the trails that are surrounding the lodge. And the hotel in THIMPHU is called the Ziwaling Ascent Hotel. Day 3, so you'll wake up in THIMPHU, again, the nation's capital. And today our plan is to run to a 12th century monastery. It is perched on a mountainside overlooking the city of THIMPHU with beautiful views. Along the way, you'll get to learn mindful running techniques from your retreat leader, and that will continue throughout the retreat. In the evening, you'll get to enjoy dinner with a local expert, and he's going to be here to talk to you and facilitate a conversation about gross national happiness. And that is how the country of Bhutan defines the success of the country. So unlike financial success, most countries just look at their GDP. They use a full measure called gross national happiness, which looks at several different pillars, including things like education, the environment, to really look at the holistic, get a holistic view of how happy and content their people are. So that'll be a great opportunity to learn more about that. Day 3, we're going to start off again in THIMPHU. And here we're going to go to a national park that's located right outside of the city, again, in the mountains overlooking the city. We're going to finish the run at the Buddha Dordinma, and excuse my pronunciations. This is one of the largest golden Buddhas in the world. I believe it is all brass and then gilded in gold on the outside. And it's pretty large. You can see it from almost anywhere in the city. So that'll be a really cool treat. After this run, then you're going to check out of the hotel and you're going to transfer to PHOBJIKHA Valley. And this is really one of my favorite parts of the country. Along the way, you're going to stop at Doshala Pass, which is about just over 10,000 feet. You'll have lunch and a short hike there. And if it is clear, you'll have really expansive views of the Himalayas and some of the highest peaks in the country. The drive from THIMPHU to PHOBJIKHA Valley, it's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive, but the roads they're beautiful views along the way. We make them very leisurely, plenty of time for stops and rest areas along the way. So you'll overnight at a hotel called the Diwashen Resort and Diwashen Hotel, sorry. And on day 5, you'll wake up again. You'll be in PHOBJIKHA Valley. Today, the run is definitely going to be a highlight. You start right from the hotel and you run through this stunning valley. And here, I've got kind of a picture of it. It's just absolutely beautiful. The valley itself is at about 9,000 feet, so it is up there a little high. And you'll run through like this kind of a small village. And again, you'll get to another monastery that's located in the center of the village. After that, you'll have the option after the run to either return to the hotel by car, or you can run back if you prefer. This afternoon, we've made time for a traditional hot stone bath. And this, again, is definitely a highlight. Oops, oh, I'm sorry. I've got a few more people coming in, so let me just let them in. Get back to where we were. So welcome to anyone that just joined us. So the hot stone bath is very traditional. Every home in Bhutan essentially has one. And it's a big wooden bathtub, and it's got 2 chambers. And what they do is they heat stones up over an open fire for hours, get them really, really hot. And then the stones go in one chamber of the tub, and then you go in the other chamber. And there's traditional herbs, flowers involved, and it's just a really wonderful, relaxing experience. And then following the hot stone bath in the evening, we're going to go to a meditation class led by practicing monks. And we will be offering a donation in your name to the monks as well. So again, here's just one picture of PHOBJIKHA Valley. It was a little cloudy on this day when I was there, but it's just a magical place in my opinion. So then on day 6, we are going to go from PHOBJIKHA Valley to PUNAKHA. You'll have the chance for maybe a short run in the morning if you choose before we depart. And it is maybe about a 1.5 to 2 hour drive to get to PHOBJIKHA. While you are here, you're going to get to go on a village run. It's just a small village surrounded by rice terraces, kind of like you can see in the photo here. You're going to go to a temple here called the Temple of the Divine Madman, and there's a really fascinating story that goes along with that. After your run this evening, you will have the chance to, or actually in the afternoon, you will have there's an optional hike this afternoon, and that will take you to the lookout of what you're seeing right now on your screen. It's just an absolutely stunning view. And we added as a hike because it's not a very long hike, it's very short. And it's quite steep getting up to the top of this lookout area. So maybe not the most runnable trail, but if you want to run, you're more than welcome to. This evening at dinner, you're going to get to learn to cook a national dish of Bhutan. It's called emadatsi, or chili and cheese. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's chilies cooked in kind of a cheese sauce. And then after you learn to cook this dish, you'll get to enjoy your food that you've made at the resort. And tonight we're staying in the Densa Boutique Resort. So then day 7 is the PUNAKHA Dzong run. So this right here, what you're seeing is the PUNAKHA Dzong. And this is a really great example of Bhutanese architecture. All of the architecture looks very similar, but this is probably one of the finest examples. The Dzongs are really kind of cultural centers of the towns. Everyone will have one. It'll usually house a school, maybe a monastery, and other kind of administrative offices, I guess, within the village. And so the trails around here are going to be beautiful, and we're either going to start or end here. We haven't quite worked that out yet, but most likely we'll be ending the run here at the Dzong, and then you'll have the chance for a picnic lunch and just to enjoy and kind of scout out. Enjoy the area and look at the and really just enjoy the architecture of the building. Excuse me. The afternoon will be at leisure. This is a wonderful resort, probably one of the best ones in the retreat. So we've built in plenty of time for you to enjoy the property. On day 8, you're going to check out of PUNAKHA, and now we're going to return back to PARO, which is where you originally flew into. It's a little pixelated, but this is an example of kind of what the roads look like. So even though they're long rides, it's usually because they're kind of narrow roads, mountain roads. But like I said, the views are just stunning along the way, and you will have an absolute expert driver who will be taking care of you the entire time. You will check out in the morning and make the drive to PARO. And the hotel that you're going to be staying at tonight is called the Bhutan Spirit Sanctuary. And we really saved the best hotel for last. This is a spa inclusive hotel, so all of the spa services are included, and we can make arrangements for you in advance if you'd like, or you will have plenty of time to make arrangements while you're there. We designed this day so that you would get to the hotel relatively early in the afternoon, and there's no other activities planned today, so that you'll have a full afternoon just to enjoy the property. They have a lot of additional activities that you can do as well, besides the spa. They can arrange hikes nearby. They can arrange archery for you if you're so inclined to try that. There may be an option to do another cooking class there if you'd like, but they will definitely have plenty of activities that are there if you prefer, you can just relax for the afternoon. So then our final day in Bhutan, this is definitely the highlight of the trip and the reason why we save it for last. And probably one of the reasons why you're all interested in going. And this is the Tiger's Nest Monastery. The monastery is perched on a cliff about 10,000 feet above sea level. The trail starts at approximately 7,500 feet, I believe, maybe closer to 8,000 feet. Actually, it's closer to 8,000, my apologies. The trail is steep at times, and I will be honest, if we were just to take this trail, it's not a typical running trail for us, but it is absolutely a highlight, and it's not something that can be missed. And our plan for this day is that we will try to get to this trail as early as possible, because it does tend to get a lot of tourists. Not super crowded because it's still a small country, but it does get some tourists. So what we do is we try to get to the trail as early as possible and try to get there ahead of all of the other groups. And again, we have built plenty of time into this trail so that if you feel it's too steep for running, that's totally fine. You can hike. There's no pressure to run or go fast, and there's plenty of lookouts and stops along the way. And then once you finish with this run, you will return back to the hotel. And again, your afternoon is at leisure to just enjoy the activities at the lodge or to pack and get ready for our departure, which is on day 10. And so we will have a morning flight, again, departing PARO, and this will return to Kathmandu. We don't have the exact timing of the flights yet, but they will be morning flights. Most people, if you would prefer, you can fly out on the evening of this day, or if you prefer, you can overnight again. That would be an optional overnight in Kathmandu and fly out the following day. So just to tell you a little bit about the accommodations on this retreat, these are all authentic, upgraded lodges and boutique hotels. We have chosen them all for their specific amenities and location. All of the hotels will feature a spa. They'll all have optional activities, yoga, cooking classes, archery. And like I've said, we have built in plenty of free time, excuse me, to really enjoy the properties. The worst thing is to check into a hotel at like 7:00 p.m. and then have to depart the following morning, and you never have the chance to really enjoy these properties. And to tell you a little bit more about the trails, this is a level 2 retreat. So we really did want to make this accessible for everyone. Bhutan is known for having some really extreme trekking, which reach very high altitudes, but we're really trying to keep our runs gentler and keeping the paths gentle. And many of these trails and paths will be used by the local people, just, to travel on their daily lives. So this really is meant to be more of a cultural immersion as opposed to an extreme endurance challenge. Many of the extreme treks hit altitudes of 15, 16 plus thousand feet. Our elevations are staying between 4,500 and 10,000 feet. And we really did design it so that you go up gradually in elevation. So you start at Kathmandu, that's at 4,500 feet. You fly to PARO, that's at about 7,000 feet. Then you get to PHOBJIKHA, that's at 10,000 feet. Then you'll go down a little bit, and then you'll kind of go back up when you get back to PARO at 7,000. So you'll have plenty of time to get very well acclimated at this elevation. And this is not such an elevation that anyone should have to worry about getting altitude sickness. It is likely that you might feel shortness of breath. You might find your pace being a little bit slower, but it's very unlikely to get sick at this altitude. And we do, like I've said, we built in plenty of times in the runs to make sure that we accommodate for that slower pace that you might experience while you're there. The trails will be a mix of narrow trails, kind of like what you see here, local footpaths, and there may be some paved roads, some unpaved roads, but they will not be like heavily traveled roads. I've got some more photos of some of the trails here just to show you, to give you an idea of what they're going to look like. And there is no shortage of prayer flags along the way. There's just another photo. And then when I say roads, this is really more like what the roads are going to be like. So, you know, not a highway or anything that's heavily traveled. And this would be more like just to get from maybe one section of a trail to another. They will be primarily trails. And then this just goes over the elevation. So as you can see, we do you gradually go up to 9,800 feet. You'll come back down a little bit, and then you'll finish at the Tiger's Nest Monastery, which is at just about 10,000 feet. So just to tell you a little bit about the food there, the cuisine features lots of rice and vegetables. Bhutan, most of the people you will find are vegetarian. Many might be vegetarians on certain days of the week. As a Buddhist country, this is kind of important to know, as a Buddhist country, they don't slaughter any animals within the country. So all of their meat is imported from India. And as such, sometimes it can have a little bit of, it can be a little different than what we're used to here. It's definitely fine as far as safety wise. It's just sometimes the meat's a little bit different. But there's no shortage of vegetarian food. The national dish is called amadatsi, and that's chili and cheese. The cuisine takes a lot of influences from Chinese food, Indian food, Tibetan food, Nepalese food. So you'll find lots of curries. The food can be spicy, but they're also very used to toning it down for Western tastes. And not all of their dishes would be considered very spicy, but some of them can be. So just be warned. It's very easy for them. They can accommodate a vegan diet, vegetarian diet, gluten-free diets, no problem accommodating any of those. They're very experienced in all three of those diets. You will find we're going to be eating at a mix of some local restaurants and then also at the hotels, depending on the itinerary and where it's convenient. You might find that the hotels might have a little more Western options as well. So just some passport and visa information. A travel visa is required for both entry to Nepal and Bhutan. Your passport must be valid for at least 6 months beyond the start date of the retreat. So the retreat starts on April 23rd. You want to make sure your passport is good until at least October or November timeframe of 2023. The Bhutan visa is included in your retreat, and we will obtain that by our partners in Bhutan for you in Bhutan. So you don't have to do anything to obtain the Bhutan visa. You will be required to get a Nepal visa. It's only about a $30 visa, and you can get that in advance. You can get that upon arrival in Kathmandu, or you can use a visa processing service if you choose. There's usually a surcharge for that, but the visa process is very simple. You just want to go with a tourist visa, and we can easily walk you through that process if you have any questions. The current COVID restrictions, Bhutan actually just recently opened back up to tourists after being closed for a very long time. To get into Nepal, these are the current restrictions. So these could absolutely change before April. But currently a negative COVID test or proof of a COVID vaccine is required. Bhutan does not require a vaccine or a COVID test to enter the country. Bhutan is still masking up though in some public indoor spaces, public transportation, and some outdoor spaces. But I suspect that that will probably change by April. And we're also going to keep our eye on the Nepal regulations as well, because they might change that. As you guys know, it's all changing very fast. So then, in addition to our Bhutan retreat, we are offering a 3-day Nepal mountain spa retreat, which is a pre-extension to the main retreat. So this will start on April 21st, 2 days prior to the main retreat. From here, you will transfer to, it's a different Dwarakas. It's called the Dwarakas Resort, and that's in Dhulikhel, which is about an hour outside of Kathmandu and in the mountains overlooking Kathmandu Valley. Here we'll have a local running guide. You can do an optional run while you're here. And then really we chose this hotel because it's got an amazing spa facilities. So you have access to a Himalayan salt room, sound therapy chambers, a meditation room, pottery sessions, hot tub. There's tons of activities that you can do while you're here, and you'll have a full day to enjoy that. Then then in the morning, you'll check out and you will return to Kathmandu. You'll do some sightseeing along the way at a few of the sites that are in Kathmandu itself. And then you will be dropped off at the Dwarakas Hotel in Kathmandu, where you will then meet your group that will be going on the main retreat. So that is also an option. And I also want to say that we can also, if you're not interested in the mountain spa retreat, we could book pre or post nights in Kathmandu. If anybody wants to arrive early or stay for a few days afterwards, that is totally fine. And Hallie can make those arrangements for you. So that is really just an overview of our retreat. And so now I'm going to open it up to Hallie, and if we have any questions.
Thanks, Rebecca. That was a really great presentation. So one question, how used to running groups is the country of Bhutan?
That's a really great question. We are actually one of the first. This is a really, really unique retreat. We are one of the first people that have done this. And just to give a little background, our partners in Bhutan, I have known, it's a small company founded by 2 brothers, and I have known them and have worked with them for about 13 years. And at prior companies, they have arranged our trips for guests at prior companies. Sorry. The guides, I'm going to be very straightforward. The guides are probably not going to be professional running guides like you may be used to if you've been on some of our other retreats. They will be more likely to be professional trekking guides. So they'll be extremely well familiar with the trails. They will be extremely well familiar with the safety procedures if there were to be anything to happen. And our goal is to really train these guides on Run Wild retreats so that they really do understand who we are and what we're all about. And maybe, they will become professional running guides. That really is our hope for them. They will be amazing cultural ambassadors to the country. They will be amazing for helping you facilitate conversations between yourself and, say, local people, teaching you the culture. So I really feel like this is a great opportunity to bring Run Wild retreats to Bhutan and also bring you guys there as well.
Yeah, great. And I also want to add that the retreat leader will be there with you throughout the entirety of your retreat. So there's going to be no lack of learning our mindful running techniques or having any run specific training, because we will have you will have the retreat leader there. So and they're all highly trained and highly experienced runners. So as far as that niche of running goes, you won't you'll get the same exact mindful running lessons that you'll get on any of our other retreats. Rebecca, are we going to be invading their peace at all by running around their landscape, or do you think it'll be welcomed?
I actually think it would be welcomed. They're an extremely welcoming country. They're very curious. I do suspect, being Buddhist, that some people might ask you like what your hurry is, why you're running. But I think they're going to be more curious than anything else and want to learn more about what you're doing. In my experience there, the people were all very active. You would always see them out in the town squares, exercising, running themselves. So I think they really just appreciate a healthy lifestyle. And so I think they're going to be really curious about what we're doing. I don't think we need to see it as an invasion at all. The places that we're going are frequently visited by tourists. We don't want to take you too far off the beaten path for your own safety. And then also for that aspect, for that reason, we don't want to just really invade on people that aren't used to it. So all of the areas that we're going will be somewhat accustomed to having tourists. And I think they'll be really interested in what we're doing there.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning that Rebecca has a very long-standing relationship with two brothers in Bhutan who are helping us organize this whole trip. So, so we have that local perspective and that local go-ahead to be operating in all of the areas that we're going to be taking you on.
Yeah, I should say that they were really excited when I approached them about this. They were very excited about the concept. They have been operating tours in Bhutan for, like I said, over 15 years. They do an amazing job. And yeah, they're really excited to be a part of this retreat. They think it's, it's just really the kind of feel good types of tours that they want to be doing over there. So they're really excited about us being there.
Rebecca, are there any special clothing requirements for entering the temples or traditional buildings?
Yeah, so I will say that the Bhutanese people in general, the women in general, they do dress quite modestly. Your normal running clothes are totally fine. Just depending on your own comfort level, like no one's going to have a problem if you're wearing, say, a tank top and, running tights. That's not a problem at all. Based on your own comfort level, some people might feel more comfortable wearing a t-shirt just because they're dressed more modestly, but there's no problem like with the local people. The only thing would be when we go to temples, and I'm glad that you asked that. So we will visit several temples along the way. And what I recommend is bringing like a scarf or a shawl with you so that you can cover your shoulders. If you're wearing, say, a tank top, they'll just want you to cover your shoulders when you go into the temple. And no photography is allowed as well inside the temples.
Great, thank you. We do have a question about the price in comparison to Nepal. I would assume that it's because it's a longer trip, but can you touch on that a little bit, Rebecca?
Yeah, so it is a little bit pricier than Nepal. The main reason for that is because of that mandatory daily tariff that Bhutan charges. Right. That alone adds quite a bit to the cost of the retreat. But like I said, that is included and there's no additional fees that you have to pay. The retreat also includes the round trip flights. There are flights in our Nepal retreat, but they're not as expensive. Those are very inexpensive flights. This does include the round trip flights from Kathmandu to Bhutan. So that's incorporated into the price of the retreat. And we have also chosen some upgraded hotels as well. So I think you'll find that the standard of the hotels, while are great in both countries, they are going to be a bit better in Bhutan. They are a higher end hotel. And I will say that they're not They're some of the best accommodations that are available in Bhutan. They're absolutely stunning, beautiful hotels. They might just be a little more minimalist, I guess, than what you might be used to if you were to stay in like a 5-star hotel in a United States city, for example. They're going to be much more peaceful and serene.
Great. Yeah, and I will add that the tourist tax that Bhutan charges it all goes towards a great cause, but also that's one of the things that keeps Bhutan so unique. And it, in my opinion, is almost a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to visit Bhutan because they do have so many tourist restrictions, and that's what keeps the experience so special in the country, so almost untouched. So I just wanted to add that and mention that we have 10 spots left on this retreat.
Awesome. And let's see, any other questions?
The deposit for this retreat is, let me see. So if you pay, you can pay a deposit now. It's $1,900. The final balance is due on November 23rd. If the retreat's not filled up by November 23rd, you can still book at that time, but at that time you won't have the option to pay a deposit. The whole entire retreat package price will be due after November 23rd. So if you'd like to start with a deposit and then pay the remaining balance on November 23rd, that's an option up until November 23rd, and then the final balance is due November 23rd. Thank you for your questions. Keep them coming if you guys have any more. If for some reason after this call a question comes up in your mind, you can always contact me. I'll drop my information in the chat, but you can reach me at info@runwildretreats.com. And then you can also give me a call at 970-930-1295. So I've just gone ahead and dropped that in the chat. If anything else comes up after this call, I am more than happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Please reach out if you have any other questions. Otherwise, I am really happy that you guys were all here today, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, and we actually do just have one more question that came in, and we love it. A couple more questions. So is this retreat going on, can we run the retreat with low numbers, or do we need to get the full 10 people to commit to this trip?
We can run this on lower numbers. We have, the first group is already filled. So we're here today to talk about the April 23rd group. And we already have enough people. I think this one is definitely going to go. So you wouldn't have to worry about us canceling it on you.
Yeah, I think we already have enough people signed up that the retreat can be confirmed. So, so we've got 10 spots left for anybody else who wants to come, but the retreat's happening.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, someone says if you've not joined any Run Wild retreats, they're amazing. I went to Iceland this year. Thank you so much for that feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love hearing your guys' feedback, and personally, I think this retreat to Bhutan is especially unique and special. I really wish that I was going, so if you guys can make it, I highly, highly recommend it. But again, I'm here to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was super informative, and thank you everybody who showed up today.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great
day.
See ya.